Hello, no BS OKRs participants. I missed hitting record on day 3 and only got a partial transcript. So I wanted to do a little recap just so you've got everything all together for posterity to wrap up your participation in the course. Before I do though, I just want to give yourselves a high five, give me a high five, give you a high five. The quality of the OKRs created by this cohort, especially with people participating for the first time asynchronously, you all have blown my mind. It's really awesome, really, really good work. And I'm not just being nice. I'm a difficult, curmudgeonly old OKR coach who has seen it all. And the work that's been done this week is really, really top notch. So good job. The recap I'm going to give here, I'll try and make quick. I'm going to show you the course materials and resources just so you don't forget to snag a copy. I'll have everything in there, including the audio and video from this week. I also updated the workbook for that class this morning. So if you downloaded it previously, snag a new copy. There are a couple new resources in there I'll show you in just a minute. We'll spend a couple minutes on readying OKRs for presentation and communication. You guys are pretty far ahead on that already, but we'll still touch on some fine points there. And then I want to share a couple thoughts about implementing OKRs and the implementation phase. And then we'll wrap up with just a couple notes on tools and tracking. So in our course Google Drive, you'll see copies of the course media. You only have access to your own working files folders. Those aren't generally accessible. So and actually they aren't even in here. I made separate folders outside of that and shared them to you individually. The playbook update that I wanted to show you, I'm going to just open up real quick. Most of this is the same as you've already seen. I did catch a couple of slides that were a little outdated in what I uploaded originally. So I've got the improved versions of those resources added here. And then the other thing I did was just yesterday I finished a new resource on pre-work for OKRs. This goes into more detail than most pre-work resources, so you don't have to do all of this. This is like if you've got an organization that really wants to align to strategic inputs from somewhere else. We kind of skipped over that piece because you're all CEOs. Everyone in this cohort was the senior most leader this time. So you weren't really taking in inputs. You were more kind of starting with that perspective as the senior most leader. But if you have teams that are localizing OKRs, or when you're anyone who's working in a situation where we do have to take in those strategic inputs from somewhere else to determine our direction to inform our OKRs, then this little step-by-step helps. And some of this you already saw, but it is expanded to give kind of a walkthrough of the steps to then get to the place where we started day 1 with, where we've got that clarity about what our territories are. So some groups and teams have struggled to get to that point. They've struggled with the territory idea. And so I just added a little bit more helpful information into the playbook there. I did also add some introduction about how to do that pre-think. So if we're doing pre-work and we want to do our big thinking before, we dive into actual drafting, there's a couple notes there on how to do that. The rest of the playbook is what you've already seen, with one thing I did want to draw your attention to. is at the very end, there is a work in progress resource. We do quality control checks for leaders who've written their OKRs and need a second pair of eyes on them. And I haven't made this into a beautiful infographic yet, but this is the actual QC checklist that we use in our practice to check the quality of OKRs and give clients feedback. So I included it here for you so that you can use it to self-coach yourself and look when you do write your own OKRs or when you're looking at OKRs from your team. This gives you a way to look at them and say, how close are these to best practice? And then where might I give some feedback or work to improve them? I'm going to cut this into multiple pieces. We'll be back in just a second with readying OKRs for presentation and communication.